Casey Davis, who is a licensed professional therapist and author, suggests the 5 things method. She says there are only 5 types of messes: trash, dishes, laundry, things with a home, and things without a home. What you're going to do is form habits around these 5 different categories. When tackling your home, you are going to address the first 3 categories right out of the park. So you're going to go around your house and collect the trashes. You're actually not going to take them out. You're going to set them by the back door. What we're doing is containing the garbage. So step 1 is going to be to contain. Go throughout your house just collecting the dishes. Dishes off the nightstand, dishes in the basement, dishes under the couch, wherever they are, and corral them into the sink. That is all you're going to do. You're just containing the dishes. You're not going to do them. Now we're moving upstairs. You're going to address the laundry next. Just like with the dishes, you're going to go around the house and collect the dirty laundry. Pile it up in the laundry room, either in baskets or right inside. We are just containing the laundry. If the laundry's clean, go ahead and just take it quickly to each person's room and you can deal with it later. The main thing is that you've now separated the dirty from the clean and you've contained the laundry. Leave it just like you're leaving the dishes in the trash. The reason you are doing those 3 in particular first is because you're getting potential health hazards out of the way. You're able to see quick progress. Things are not now strewn throughout the house, mixed together. They are separated, they are contained, they are corralled. You're also teaching yourself how to approach cleaning your house in little habits and by breaking things down. But these are also habits that you are going to be forming that you can go back to every single day to keep your home tidy. Now you're going to tackle things that have a home. You're going to again corral these items.
You can even make a couple of piles. One pile are the things that you know where they belong, and the other pile, things that you're not quite sure. You know they're not trash, but you're not exactly sure where they go. Now realize this is not all meant to be done in one day. If your house is very messy or feeling very overwhelmed, take a few days to do this.
Depending on what kind of time you have, your energy level, you're going to go back through in the order that you picked things up. So now at this point in the process, you can go ahead and throw out all your trash. Next category, dishes, go ahead and get them washed and put away. Laundry, you're gonna get all of the dirty laundry washed and put away, and just try not to get sidetracked. Don't worry about the things that need to be relocated or the things you haven't found homes for yet. Your focus is the laundry. So spend as many hours or maybe the entire day or the next 2 days getting caught up on laundry before you move on to those relocate items. My tip for relocating items is to have separate bins for each member in your family, either color-coded or labeled, and put the relocate items in the bins. Pass off as much of this as possible and delegate, and then have everybody have to take care of these bins either at the end of every night or every Saturday. When it comes to the items that have no home, do not worry. This is extremely simple. Every single day, you are going to find homes for only 3 items and then declutter 3 items. So you're only taking care of 6 items at a time or each day. So you are basically going to clean a little bit every single day if possible, and try not to let things like the dishes, the trash, the laundry, things that need to be relocated pile up throughout the week, because that is when it starts to get feeling really discouraging and overwhelming to the point where you don't even know where to start anymore, and you just continue to let things pile up and you start to feel like a bad housekeeper. You're not. So try and follow this method. I think it is so nice when you just break things down into manageable steps.
Here is some footage of my home before I started minimizing. This is an example of the everyday mess that I was dealing with on a daily basis. And I do think it is completely normal and expected to have everyday mess. Things that are just out because you're using them, things that the kids have pulled out, different toys, laundry may be scattered about the house, and things are just kind of out of order. This took me 2 hours every day roughly to clean, and this is kind of like my tipping point where I decided that I was done spending so much time cleaning. It was just taking away from time with my family, and I started realizing that I could give myself permission to let this stuff go and give myself that time back and that energy back. So what I used to do when I had a really messy house is I would just start in one particular room and I wouldn't declutter anything. That was the thing. I was not in the habit of getting anything out of my house. I was just constantly accumulating more and more. My kids would have a birthday, we would have Christmas, and then I would never declutter anything. I maybe made 2 trips to the donation every year, and I just thought that's how it was. But I just didn't realize that there was another way, a better way, an easier way to live. So I would just go around and I would just do things as I saw them. Now, this was overwhelming. I was very overwhelmed by the mess every single day, and I felt like for whatever reason I just wasn't able to keep up on it, and it made me feel discouraged. Like I just wasn't a very good housekeeper, and how come it takes me so long, and how come I'm working so hard? I was living way beyond my clutter threshold, and what I didn't realize at the time was that I had a 2-part problem. The first problem being I had way too much stuff in my house. And the problem is everybody has everyday mess, but the problem is when you go far beyond that and you have actual clutter, things that you're not using that surround your everyday mess. That's when you get a really overwhelming space. Things feel unmanageable, out of control. You start to feel like a bad housekeeper. You're spending so long every day cleaning your space. So problem 1 is I just had way too much inventory in my home. Problem 2, I didn't really have a system of attack. I did not have a strategy. I didn't know what the 5 areas of mess were, and I didn't know how to strategically address them without feeling overwhelmed or burned out. So once I started decluttering my space, getting stuff out, I started realizing immediately that cleaning got easier. I was spending so much less time every single day cleaning up everyday mess mixed with clutter. It was all jumbled together, making my job 1,000 times harder. So, as you're feeling a little overwhelmed when you get to the very last step of this 5-method system and you get to those items that don't actually have a home, this is where you have to really start using brain power, and it gets kind of tough, and you have to decide, what can I get rid of? What can I live without? What is making my job, my life harder? What is not contributing to my values and goals? And actually getting stuff out of your house and then having to find homes can be really tough. You have to ask yourself, where would I use this item most often? And do I have a space to contain it? It's a little bit of work for sure, but do not skip this step. That was kind of my long explanation as to why that last step is so valuable. You will find perhaps the most value and the most life-changing benefits from the very, very last step, which is getting stuff out of your home and finding homes for the things that you're going to keep. It makes cleaning up every single day so much easier, so much faster, and you don't really have to think about it. And once you have the system in place, it all just flows naturally. As you're going throughout each day, remember as well to focus on surfaces like clearing off the kitchen table, clearing off the kitchen counters. You need this as a workspace. I'll do a quick sweep and a quick vacuum. So those are a couple other things that you don't want to forget. Your surfaces are important. Something that I think is really important to note as you're going through and doing this 5-step method is that you're always going back to the previous day and getting caught up quickly on what you did the day before. So if day 1 you are focusing on trashes, day 2, before you go and you gather up all the dishes, you're going to go and make sure you take out all the trashes for that day. And then by the time you get to day 3, you're going to go gather up all the trashes for that day quickly. This will only take a second. And then you're going to gather up the dishes, and then you're going to move on to laundry. Does that make sense? So you're always going back and maintaining quickly. It should only take a couple of seconds or minutes, the task from the previous day. This is when you're doing your original initial, my house is an absolute disaster. It's a war zone. I have to get completely caught up. But every single day, you are going to spend a few minutes just going back and making sure that you have accomplished what the previous day's tasks were. That way you're not feeling like things are just piling up behind you, and all of that progress that you had made the day before, the previous days before, is just piling up again. So you always go back and readdress what you've already done.
Also, have basic cleaning ingredients always on hand. There is nothing worse than feeling in the mood to clean and tidy and you don't have what you need. It is incredible to me what you can clean with just simply baking soda and vinegar. Also, degreasers are amazing, especially for your surfaces, and they just smell amazing and make the job more pleasant. Let me know what you thought of today's method, the system. Will you be trying it? I'll see you soon.